Next part, we're going to focus on solving absolute value inequalities. So before we get into solving absolute value inequalities, there's two forms for absolute value inequalities that we need to know before we do any solving. So if you have a problem where the absolute value is by itself and it's less than 2c, this will also apply to less than or equal. So if you have in this form where the inequality sign is opening to the c value, then you're going to set up according to this. Notice how in the middle ax plus b came from inside the absolute value, meaning that just because it's ax plus b doesn't mean that your work has to be in the exact same format. It's just emphasizing that what's inside the absolute value is going to be in the middle of this form. On the right side is less than c, meaning it matches with this original problem. Then on the left side is going to be with the negative c value, and the inequality sign is facing the same direction. So when you have a problem, when you set it up and you have in this format, you're going to follow this structure. You're going to set up your work according to this structure. Whereas over here, what's different is that the inequality sign is facing the other direction. So when that happens, we're going to write the inside of the absolute value twice, just like solving an absolute value equation. The first one, the inequality sign matches with the original problem with the c value. The second one, the inequality sign is facing the opposite direction with the negative c value. So to review, with this second form, you're going to actually have two inequalities where the inside of the absolute value is written twice. The first one matches with the same inequality sign and the same c value. The second one, the inequality sign is in the opposite direction with the opposite c value, which is negative c. So make sure to know the two forms and how to set up according to the two forms that you have here. In example 1, we have negative 3 times the absolute value of x minus 9 greater than negative 18. So just like absolute value equation, you want to get the absolute value by itself. In order to get rid of this negative 3, since it's directly in front, it's multiplying. The opposite is to divide. So I'm going to divide both sides by negative 3. So when I divide, negative 3 and negative 3 becomes 1. I am left with absolute value of x minus 9. Now don't forget, since I divided both sides by a negative number, I'm going to flip the inequality sign like this. And then on the right, negative 18 divided by negative 3 is a positive 6. Alright, so just like absolute value equation where it should not equal to a negative number, here, this is where I gotta double check. Absolute value, it says it's less than 6. That's okay. If it had said absolute value is less than a negative number, then that's where you're gonna stop and write no solution. So only the special case is if the absolute value is by itself and it's less than a negative number, that's where you stop, write no solution. If it's less than a positive number, you can keep going. Alright, so it's absolute value of x minus 9 less than 6. So it measures with this form. So that means that I'm going to rewrite my work according to this structure. So I'm going to write the inside in the middle, so x minus 9. So here on the right side, less than my c value, which is 6. On the left side, I'm going to write the inequality sign, same direction. The opposite of c, which is negative c. So I'm going to write the opposite of negative 6. I'm going to write the opposite of 6. So therefore, negative 6. So again, I wrote the inside in the middle. I have my two inequality signs facing the same direction. Here's the original c value on the right. Here's the opposite c, which is -6, on the left. Now, our goal is to get x by itself. So that means I need to cancel out the -9. I'm going to add 9 in the middle. Then I'm going to add 9 on the right side. Here I have to add 9 on the left side. So in this structure, I'm going to add my 9 3 times. In the middle, the 9 cancel out. I'm left with x. So on the right side, it's 6 plus 9, which is 15. -6 plus 9, which is 3. So here's my answer in inequality notation. 3 less than x less than 15. Now to write it in interval notation, it would be my lower number, which is 3, that comes first, comma, my upper number, which is 15, comes second. Meaning my lower number is on the left side, my upper number is on the right side. Now, based on these two inequality sign is less than, I'm going to put parenthesis on the 3 and parenthesis on 15. So here's my answer in interval notation. Now, in order to graph this absolute value inequality, basically you look at our answer in inequality notation. You see how the x is between the 3 and the 15? So it's saying that any numbers between 3 and 15 is a solution to the original problem. So when we're graphing, I'm going to label my two numbers, which is 3 and 15, on my number line. Now in order to graph, I'm going to follow my interval notation answer. So at 3, notice how my parenthesis is an open parenthesis, so I'm going to follow the same direction for the graph, like so. Then look at the parenthesis on the 15. I'm going to draw my parenthesis on the number line, same direction as interval notation, which is the closed parenthesis. So look at the parenthesis on the 3, facing the same direction. Look at the parenthesis on the 15, also facing the same direction. Then I'm going to draw my line in the middle between the two parentheses. So your graph should look like this. And you might have this format on the ACC final exam or any future test, so I just want you to be familiar with this form.